Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 6th episode of the Crag Chat Podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Anna's face just went, oh my gosh, because she doesn't know, but I've recorded several episodes without her. We decided she wasn't a good enough guest.
Yeah.
So we just invited...
I'm too passionate.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. Okay, keep going.
So some people have been calling me out for being too passionate lately. We don't need to get into details, but we're mad about it. That's all you need to know. We were talking about route names at the gym the other night, and one of the routes at our gym is called Foxy Tea Kettle, and it's a 510 plus. And Anna said that's just how I like my 510 pluses, a little spicy, wholesome, yet slightly sexual. And I just felt that was something that needed to be, once again, re-brought up on the podcast, because it was too good. That was gold.
Thank you.
Comedy gold. Is it? What other route names can you think of that are, like, wholesome but slightly sexual?
I clearly remember when On the Rocks did a whole set of Schitt's Creek route names, and one of them was called, if you haven't seen Schitt's Creek,
I've seen a few episodes. Okay. I don't think I gave it enough of a chance. Yeah. It's like one of those things, you know?
You like it or you don't, for sure. But there was a route that was called 50 Shades of Johnny Rose. In the show, he's the dad. Like, the wholesome dad who wants to keep all of, like, the family together.
I know what he looks like.
Yeah, Eugene Levy. That's who he is. And I thought it was so funny, like, because, like, 50 Shades of Grey is, like...
Right.
Such a sexual movie. And then you have, like, wholesome Johnny Rose.
Wow, look at you.
It was so adorable.
That was a great answer.
Thank you.
I think that there are a lot of route names that are just blatantly sexual.
Yeah.
But that wholesome aspect, that's what we're really here for.
Mm-hmm.
We also recently had a route at On the Rocks named after one of our interactions. Would you like to tell the story of One Woman Bowling League?
Yes, I would love to.
So One Woman Bowling League is a really black, slopey 5'11 plus.
Looks like bowling balls.
It does.
It's perfect.
And it's because...
So... we started talking about, because I just joined a bowling league, and I was like, I'm not very good, but my friend she started, like, the Avon High School Bowling League, and she was the only person on the bowling team, and we'd go to her tournaments all the time, and we called her, like, the one-woman bowling team.
Yeah.
And so then we were like, you should name her out, one-woman bowling team, just as a joke. And then it showed up 3 days later.
3 days later, our setters really were there for us that day.
Yes.
Anna and I are, like, I feel like we're going to project this route, but 11 plus is a little bit up there for us in the gym. The start of that route, it's hard.
I haven't tried it.
You should try it.
I just need to.
You have to try it after this. Yeah, it's difficult. I think that we could get through it, but I don't foresee us getting it clean by the time that they take it down. Just because I think for both of us, slopers are not.
Yeah.
They're a bit of our anti-style.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
But we'll have to name another one.
We will have to name another one. I actually have a list of route names in my phone of, like, if I ever get to name a route, some ideas. One is Sonic Glaze, and I really wish I could remember the story behind it, but I just still think it's a cool route name. I don't know why.
It does sound good. Like, for outside? Is that what you mean? Or just anything? I
mean, it would be cool indoors, but it would... Actually, I think that the best way to be remembered in general in your life is to name a route. And my reasoning is because... Listen, there's a lot of things you can do in your life. Like, you can be, a Mozart, or you can be a Picasso, or, be a warlord, I suppose. There's a lot of things you can do, but eventually you're just going to be a person in history that people are like, oh, yeah, that's cool, and eventually they'll forget about you.
Mm-hmm.
And, eventually they'll forget about Hitler. Maybe not. I don't know. But a route name, that stays there forever. I mean... It's rock.
It does.
I mean, I guess, like, years, like, eons from now, it'll probably erode or be covered up by water. But, actually, 2 of the worst routes in the entire state of Ohio are routes that I named. outdoor routes.
What are they called?
So the one is called The Farmer Says Ow, because it was when we climbed it. So for backstory, these are located at Beach City, which is a super small crag. Honestly, my recommendation would be go there if you're in the area or if you just like checking out new crags, but it's definitely not like a destination crag. But Jen and I like going to see new stuff, so we went and checked it out. Apparently there's not supposed to be bolting there, but someone put up a couple of routes anyways. I don't know if they knew or if they didn't know. This is all just my perspective. When I got to the crag, there were 2 unnamed bolted routes that weren't listed on Mountain Project, so Jen and I, we took pictures of them and threw them up. They got approved. The first one is The Farmer Says Ow, because the rock was really sharp and it hurt our hands and there was cows in the background. And Jen named that one. So The Farmer Says
Perfect.
Ow. They're both like 5'10" somethings. And then the second one is it's just called Real Boy. The very first time I ever took Therese to the Red River Gorge, she walked into Miguel's Pizza and she looked at all the Miguel's Pizza t-shirts and she said, "I'm a real boy now." And it stuck with me. So I named the route. But yeah, but if I ever had to name another route, Sonic Glaze, and then the other one that I really like is I was playing a game one time and the goal of the game was you had to write a sentence that had 10 words in it, but none of the words could have E in it, and you had to do it in 10 seconds. It was a very big challenge. And the sentence that I came up with was something about a fox is just a fun thing to grab. That was what my brain...
That would be a fun route name.
Yeah,
that seems so route name.
A fox is just a fun thing to grab.
Yeah.
So that's going on. Any route setters that name their routes at their gym, if you use either of those names, Sonic Glaze or a fox is just a fun thing to grab, hit us up.
Yeah. Shout out the pod.
Shout out the pod. And also, if there are any route setters that name routes, we would love to hear your wholesome yet slightly sexual route names.
Tasteful. But, little dirty. Those are the best.
And I think...
Like a Disney movie, How Disney movies always had, inappropriate things in the background?
Yes, I do know that. Oh my gosh. All right, moving on. Let's talk about ice climbing. So the last time that we podcasted, we talked. The last time that we podcasted, we talked about being uncomfortable. That was one of my goals for the year. And one of the things that I said that made me uncomfortable was the thought of ice climbing. So we fixed that up real quick, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Anna and I went ice climbing at a place in southern Michigan. It's called Peabody's, and it's a man-made ice climbing structure. You can rent gear there. The staff is very friendly. Rachel and Garrett. Super cool. And the building that you walk into is it's so neat. It's so Peabody's used to be an old orchard. And
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was maybe they had all different types of fruits. But
that's what it seemed like.
Yeah, so it used to be an old orchard, but then they've repurposed the buildings into this ice climbing facility, and I just love it. I love repurposed things. Yes. You know that about me. The
little barn that is the hangout spot was so cute, and where you check in. Immediately you just walk in, and there's a little fire going, and it's so cozy, because usually people are in there sitting, talking, whatever, because it's freezing outside, or it was when we were there. It was 16 degrees or something.
It was pretty cold when we went. So what's the biggest difference, in your opinion, between ice climbing and rock climbing? What hit you initially?
I would say there's a lot of things that were hitting me, which we'll get into that. That sounded weirder than I wanted it to. But there was a lot of things going on in my body, in my mind, when it was happening. But I would say the one thing is I was way over gripping the ice picks for sure. So I was getting super pumped out. And probably the feet, because I didn't trust the feet of I can just use the crampons to kick into the side of the ice, which it was a lot more difficult, you said, when we were there, because it was a lot colder. The ice was way harder.
Yeah, so I actually have been twice. Jen and I went once, and there's a video up on the channel showing that, and then we went back with Anna the second time. The first time that we went, when it was just Jed and I, the ice, it was a lot warmer of a day, so the ice was a lot softer, and then I was really surprised the next time when I went back with Anna how hard the ice was the next time, because it was a bit colder. And I think from someone that has been ice climbing a total of 3 times, so I'm an expert now.
Yeah.
At a man-made facility. I think the biggest thing for me is the first time I ever did it 2 years ago, I hated it. I didn't enjoy it. But I think it was just because I was too cold. So the biggest piece of advice I can give to any person that's going out ice climbing is bring a lot of layers, put that bottom layer, make sure that it's some sort of synthetic material so that it doesn't soak up the sweat, get you cold. And then Anna and I actually don't do what Anna and I did. Do you want to explain what we did?
Yeah, don't go inside in the middle of ice climbing. Once you go inside, it's over.
It's over.
Your body has adapted. It's like going, how did we say it? Like jumping into a hot tub when it's cold out and then getting back out and then it feeling like it's like negative 20 degrees.
Yes.
That's exactly how we felt when we climbed up that last tall route.
So Anna said, just to elaborate a bit more, Anna and I were freezing, and Jed wanted to climb one more ice route. We're like, cool, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But we're going to go inside for a little bit because there's some other parties on it. So Anna and I go inside, and we were warming up ourselves by the fire. Another pro tip, don't set your gloves too close to the fire.
Against the door of the fire.
They might start to smoke, but we are only saying this out of speculation, not because it happened. And then we went back outside, and yes, it was exactly that thing where you go in a hot tub, and then you jump into the pool, and the pool feels freezing.
That's it.
And then you have to get back in the hot tub, or else you're just...
Yeah, you feel terrible.
It's too cold.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. But we still had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun. We put Anna up on the hardest route because it was what was open.
I wonder why it was open.
So we put her up on the hardest route right away because we're like, oh, it's just open, like, might as well.
Yeah, and nothing to compare it to anyways.
Yeah. And they're not graded there or anything, so we're like, eh. And you got, on the first route, you got the screaming barfies.
Yes.
Tell me about that. How did that feel? Because I have yet to experience it.
So I got like halfway up and I thought I was way further than I was. And literally I was like, I want to come down. I'm so pumped out. And I didn't feel anything like when I was like, Jed was lowering me, whatever. And then when I finally like unclipped and like handed someone the ice picks, like, so, like, gingerly, like, I can't hold these anymore. I literally felt like my forearms were, like, hard as a rock, and then I started feeling, like, this tingly, almost like, you know when you get a lot of adrenaline, and, like, your body gets all, like, from your head to your toes, you're like, oh my god. And then I felt like I was going to puke.
Oh.
It was so weird. And I thought, I was like, oh, it's probably just because I'm new. You know, I hadn't done this before. And
I remember you said, so some guy came by, right?
Yeah, who worked there. Because he asked me, like, oh, is it your first time here? All that. Have you climbed? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, did you get the screaming barfies? And I was like, before he even explained the definition, I was like, yes. I felt like I wanted to scream, like, pee myself. And, well, the pee myself is just my own thing on the side. It's just screaming and feeling like you want to puke. And I felt that so hard.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah. It's almost like the adrenaline of it when it's cold. It almost like makes you more like you just are more like hyped up to climb. I felt like especially on the last route that we did when we came out and then came back in.
The last route. So the thing about ice climbing that I find is like, if you're not used to it, like Anna said before, you're going to overgrip. I think that's just going to be something that you do as a beginner. I mean, that's what you do in rock climbing, right?
Yeah.
Is you overgrip. And then you also, like, with ice climbing, another thing just like rock climbing is it's very important to keep your arms straight. Especially when you're pretty much consistently holding on to your tools. the entire time. Like, you just don't get a break. And I think that this third time I did learn a bit more how to, like, set my tool and rest a bit, but it's still so hard.
Yeah, and you don't want to. It feels like dangerous, like you're going to fall if you do.
Well, and if anyone has watched the ice climbing video of when just Jed and I went, you'll see in the video, you'll think it's funny when it comes out. At the time of recording, the ice climbing video is going to come out in 1 week. So, but if you watch that video, you'll see one of the reasons why I'm so afraid to let go of my tools is because I let go of one of my tools and then I slipped. And I went to try and grab that one, and I let go of the other one, and then I was on the ground, and my tools were in the ice.
Oh my gosh, that almost happened to me.
Yeah. And someone had to come by and help me, like, give me their tools to get back up.
Scoop them up.
It was funny. But I said, oh my gosh, what happens when you do that outside, like, when you're actually really ice climbing? Someone said something about potentially people put leashes on them. I'm like, yeah, I would.
Oh, but definitely. Like a surfboard.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to lose your surfboard.
No.
Out there in the ocean.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those water sports, man. They'll get you. I mean, ice is just frozen water.
Another water sport.
Anna has a habit. Have we mentioned this yet? I don't think so. So if Anna's having a bad day with, well, it started with bowling, right? I asked her.
Yes.
I said, Anna, are you good at bowling? And she said, I have my good days and I have my bad days. It's all just another day in the sport.
And it has stuck so hard ever since, just saying, it's just another day in sport.
And we say it all the time with climbing.
Yeah.
Now, when we're struggling, or even when we're not struggling. I do just want to give congratulations to Anna, because right before we came up to do this podcast, there's a route downstairs. If you climb it on the rocks, a yellow 5.
I think it's a 9+.
Yeah, a yellow one on the Audible wall.
Yeah.
That she just sent, and she's been working so hard on it.
Yeah, I've had a really good athletic week. I've been wanting to send that one for a while and haven't been able to. And then I also had a good bowling day. Another day in the sport. I bowled a 163, which apparently that's like really good.
I have absolutely no clue what that means.
Me either. But someone, like the guy who runs the whole league, was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even bowled a 163, like,
wow,
this season. And I was like, oh, but he's actually good. So I was like, wow.
Well, congratulations.
So, next time, no pressure. Just going to go into it.
Next time, no pressure.
Exactly.
Let's talk about also, one of the main reasons I was excited to go back up to Peabody was because they have a really cute cat named Daft. And the previous times it had been so friendly. And this time, Daft didn't want anything to do with us. I went over to try and pet Daft, and Anna was laughing so hard because I, put my hand near Daft, and it was, biting. I was like, this is a completely different cat, which was disappointing.
Yeah. Maybe it was just an off day.
Yeah. Maybe he was just having another day in the sport.
Another day in the sport. And probably when you guys were there, it was one of the first weeks that people could ice climb, right? So maybe he's sick of people now.
Yeah,
it's been a few weekends.
There were a lot of people there.
But still love Daft. He's such an old soul.
He is such an old soul.
He really is.
The best way I can describe Daft, and this is in a loving manner, is he looks haggard. Is that not accurate?
Yes.
He's a short-haired cat that just looks haggard.
Yeah.
It's like
and he's tiny too. Something stunted his growth.
Yes, and also it's the best way I can describe Daft's fur is if how you get that doormat by the door that's just full of dirt and it's just matted down, and that's Daft.
That's Daft.
Orange and white, lovable cat sometimes.
Loves a fireplace, just like a rug.
So we climbed at Peabody, had a lot of fun. Anna liked to call the big overarching pieces of ice volumes.
Yeah.
She'd be like, did you try going on the volume?
That's what it looked like in the one. It was kind of a chimney looking route, but it had those giant ice volumes. That's what I would call them. And I kept wondering, I wonder how those like how they formed those, you know?
Yeah. Well, Peabody's in general, the way they make the ice, I think I was telling you this. The way they make the ice is it's a chain link fence, like a cone-shaped structure, and then it's supported by wooden beams. And then essentially they mist / like drip water down while they do a snow blower at the same time.
Yes. It's so cool looking.
It's very
like,
cool
just
looking.
From far away.
When you walk out, yeah. They also have dry tooling there, which I really want to do the dry tooling, which is, if you don't know what dry tooling is, it's basically where you use ice climbing tools and crampons. Or do you use crampons? I don't know.
I think you'd have to, because if you're, like, mixing it, if you're going from ice to rock.
I suppose.
I bet you would.
Well, anyways, it's on wood.
You'll find out once you try it.
Yeah, I guess I will. It's on wood, and you use ice tools, and it looks crazy, honestly.
Looks heinous.
You know, Anna, it's funny that you say that it looks heinous. Because, alright, here's the thing that Anna and I have been talking about recently. And comment if you agree. Please, if you're going to put any comment on our podcast ever, please comment on this. Is it just us? But we feel like climbers are the only group of people ever in the world that regularly say the word heinous. Like,
yes.
Oh man, yeah, that approach was heinous.
Yeah.
Oh man, that side pull, such a heinous side pull. Like,
or even just normal daily things. Like, oh wow. That traffic was just heinous.
Literally, though.
I think I heard someone say something like that in a climbing YouTube video. Not even about climbing. It's like, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
But only climbers. You're so right.
Yeah. I was watching a video the other day from some climbers. They were doing the dishes, and they had gloves on, because they want to protect their hands and keep their hands good for climbing. Mm-hmm. And they didn't say heinous, but it just made me think, like, they would be the types of people to, like, they're doing the dishes, and they're like, man, this is just stuck on. This is heinous. Like,
can't get this grease off. It's heinous.
This grease is so heinous. Yeah. Yeah, so comment in the comments. I don't think I've ever said the word heinous in a serious fashion. I only say it to make fun of people.
Yeah, me too. When the opportunity comes up. I only say it, like, around you because I know you're going to take it as a joke too.
Do you think that it's, like, a rite of passage? So, like, for example, how grandmothers tend to, like, I feel like if you become a grandmother, you just automatically know how to make cookies or something, right? Uh-huh. Do you think that it's, like, you climb V8, V9, yes. V10, and all of a sudden, like, now you're just allowed to say
You're allowed.
heinous?
It's, like, unlocked. They, like, give you the key. Like, once you get down from once you send the route, they're like, you can now use the word heinous. And you're like, oh, I'm going to use it every day.
Just like that.
That's how I imagine it. I hope I never get to that part. I hope I never can climb that hard, so I never am allowed to use that word.
Well, don't worry. I don't think we'll get there.
I think so either.
Man.
Just another day in the sport,
Just another day in this sport. All right, and then the last part of our ice climbing trip, it cannot be ignored without saying, well, first off, if you do want to go ice climbing, I highly recommend Peabody. Staff's super friendly. You can get rental gear there. I believe it's like $35 a day for all the gear and a day pass. Obviously, if you get cold, you can go indoors. Just don't go back outdoors.
Yeah, beware.
And, they have a cute cat. The last thing at Peabody's itself is they have their bathrooms. And we're going to give you a little bit of beta on their bathrooms. So Anna goes into the bathroom, which is marked by a door that says special on it. It just says special, and then it has a giant half of a log attached to it. Anna goes into the bathroom, and I'm standing there waiting, and she comes out, and it was the funniest freaking thing. The beta is that the door slides.
Yes.
It does not push. And I just watch Anna try to push this door, and it just, like, lifts up slightly. And then she goes, oh. Tries to slide the door. It's so funny. And I think just the fact that the door said special with a piece of wood there.
Yeah.
I want to know the story.
There has to be a backstory to it.
There
I
has
feel like
to
a
be.
lot of things in that little building had a backstory.
Oh, for sure. And we
Some
also
memories were made.
we also were kidding around. We're like, ooh, that's the special room.
Yeah.
What goes on there? And then
Yeah.
Anna goes, ooh, what's this light switch? And she flips the light switch on, and it proceeded to be like a disco party
Yeah.
light type of a vibe. So I was like, oh, maybe it is actually
Yeah.
a special room.
Now we're talking. It's like a little sauna room. Well, it's not really a sauna because you're
There is a
usually out
sauna
there.
back there, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's you're not gonna be like 100 degrees, but yeah, it's a cute little room.
It's cool.
It has like the wooden benches like a sauna does and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah. So then after ice climbing, we just quick looked up a place to go eat. And Old Hickory was the place that we settled on. Let me tell you, what's your Yelp review on Old Hickory?
5 out of 5.
Oh, I would give it 6 out of 5. I would personally contact Yelp to see if I could add
that sixth
the 6th
star.
star.
Put in the comments.
Put it in
You
the
know.
comments. We love Old Hickory. Old Hickory, if you're listening, we love you.
We love you. The atmosphere was amazing. We were there on a Saturday night. So it was like prime time, like what, 7 p.m., 6 p.m., you know. The drinks are flowing. People are in there. Like, it's the prime crowd. You know, like, all those people that were there probably go there religiously, like, on a
Well,
Saturday
and you know
night.
it because we walk in and like heads turn. They,
Yeah.
they know
Like-
we're not part of the
They're like,
local
"Wait."
crowd. We don't
That's
recognize
true.
you. And the food was delicious.
Oh, my God.
I mean, we were starving, but I got a burger, so good. And then we all got our own meals, and then we got a pizza to share
Yes.
because we just wanted food.
There's a lot of, their barbecue sauce goes so hard. It is a thick, if you like a thick barbecue sauce, you got to go there.
Very good.
Like, coming home from Courtney and Jed's, I drove home and my leftovers had the barbecue sauce in it, and it accidentally tipped over. Didn't even spill because
Oh my
that sauce is
gosh.
so thick.
Wow.
I was like,
Thanks for sharing.
Old Hickory, like, you did it again, man.
Thank you for sharing that. I
You're
didn't know
welcome.
that. Part of the reason that we loved Old Hickory so much, and this was more of a Jed and I thing than an Anna thing, but if you are a fan of the show Letterkenny, Old Hickory sitting in that place was the closest thing I've ever felt to being in the show Letterkenny. And we were actually, one of the reasons it was so entertaining was because we were actually picking out characters.
Mhm.
Like, oh, there's Derry, there's Katie, there's so-and-so. The one character, we found almost every character from the show. The one character we did not find was Wayne. That was the theme of the night, is trying to find our Wayne. He's just a hard one to replace. We found some guys that I was like, if they were wearing flannels, it'd be a close one.
Yeah.
And then after we got done with Old Hickory, we had just an adventure of a day. It was fun. After we got done with Old Hickory, we realized that we had parked in the snowmobile parking in our truck. And Anna and I proceeded to push our truck out while Dred drove because we didn't trust ourselves to drive the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got stuck in the Old Hickory parking lot.
Yeah, we did. For a good, like, 30 minutes, I think we were trying to get out of
It
there.
was a while. And then some people were just standing on the outside,
Yeah.
like, watching, and I thought they were maybe going to come help, but I think they were just too entertained.
I think they were also very entertained.
I
And
mean,
it
I
was-
would be.
Yeah. It was also pretty cool. And it was, like, at least 6 or 7 inches of snow we were in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Easily.
And then on the drive home, something that I found very entertaining is I said to Anna, Anna, would you ever date a non-climber now? Because Anna's single and ready to mingle. I don't know if you're ready to mingle, but Anna is single. She pauses for a minute, and she said, well, what would we do?
Literally, though, I'd be like, I'm gonna just disappear for like 5 hours today on a Saturday. I'll see you later. Or like after work or something.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that Jed is into climbing. I mean, he's the reason that I started climbing, kind of. I'm so curious to know that if I had never, like, if he had never climbed before, if I'd still fall into it somehow. Yeah. But I mean, there's a million different paths your life can take.
I feel like you probably would have.
Yeah.
I think you'll always, like, gravitate back towards it. Maybe not at that time. Maybe, like, 5 years, 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
There's no plan.
There's no plan. There's no plan. There's no pressure. Just another day in the sport.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the part of the show where we talk about what we're drinking. Athletic Brewing kindly supports our podcast, and you can find all their information in the description below. Today, I am drinking the Upside Down Golden Ale, and that is also what Anna is drinking. Yeah. They are non-alcoholic beers that taste just like the real thing. So if you're interested in having a beer that you can climb with, or do really anything with, that sounded weird.
You know what we mean?
You know what we mean. If you're interested in a beer you can take to the special room at Peabody's, get yourself some
slide that door.
Get yourself some Athletic Brewing. 20% off using the code CourtneyS20 at checkout on your first purchase. Thanks, Athletic. All right, let's talk about something that kind of blew my mind the other day. So I was listening. So 2 things. 1, there's a video, and 2, there's a podcast. Imagine that. People have podcasts beside this one.
Crazy.
There was a video on my friend Anna Hazelnut's channel, super good climber, about 9 ways to rest. Like 9 creative ways to rest.
That.
Did you?
I did.
That's cool. I didn't know that. So we can talk about that then.
I wanted your live reaction of when... I'm just kidding.
And then there's also the person that put together my climbing training plan that I'm now basically completely ignoring, Lauren at Good Spray Coaching. I'm not ignoring it because I don't think that it's effective. I am ignoring it because of life situations.
You were hitting it hard, though.
I was,
for like a solid month.
I was, and I felt like it was helping.
Oh my gosh, definitely.
Yeah, so I also listen to, it's called the Average Climber Podcast, and it's a podcast put on by Lauren and her counterpart. It's a dirtbag nutritionist is her Instagram name. They kind of work together to provide coaching and then also nutrition plans for climbers, and very knowledgeable. They have all sorts of certifications and backgrounds in climbing, and Lauren actually used to work as an engineer. So I always find like her approaches to the way she looks at climbing training very interesting because they're very systematic.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But one of the things in the most recent episode of the podcast was she said something about resting as well. And I was like, wow, that's cool that 2 climbing mediums that I'm listening to this week are both talking about rest. One of the things that she said is, when you're climbing a sport route, oftentimes it's more helpful if you rest for 60 seconds. Like, you get to a good rest hold and you rest for a full 60 seconds, and then you continue the climb, rather than, oh, I'm going to rest for, like, 20 seconds and then just try to, like, bust it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what I do.
I thought that was really enlightening because I never really have thought about the way that I rest.
Yeah. I kind of want to try that. See, my first thought of that is thinking, even 60 seconds on like a nice hold, I feel like my forearms I would start feeling it more just because I
feel like I'd fall
up
asleep
there longer. I'd like be like, can someone time me? Because I'm going to want to go like at 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try that now.
I definitely think that it's a cool tactic.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't really tried it yet, but she said it only this past week, and it's something that I'm like, ooh, I really want to try to incorporate that idea into my climbing a bit more. And then Anna's video, what'd you think of it?
I thought it was really cool because some of them I had never like seen before. Like the one where she was like,
the flamingo.
Yes, you knew exactly what I was going to.
Yeah. So basically, what you do is imagine your legs are kind of crisscrossed over top of each other.
It was like that.
And you're using the wall and your legs to brace yourself and then rest, so that a majority of the the weight is being taken off your arms and going into your legs.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting.
I thought
as well.
it was too. And that the girl she was climbing with said when she
Swana, I believe is her name.
She was a really good climber.
Oh yeah. They're both pro climbers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she had the really good she said she used that because she like hurt her ankle or something.
Yeah, she had some
like,
sort
wow.
of injury.
Yeah.
The one that got me, the resting method that I thought was unique was the high heel, because like I feel like I'm fairly flexible, maybe not by climbing standards, but just like by being a human standards.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, if I can get like
what was that one again?
It was just using like an obscenely high heel to like essentially as a third arm. Like,
oh,
so
for some reason I was thinking you meant it was called like the high heel, like it was like named after the shoe for some reason. I don't know why. Flamingo, like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I thought that was cool. And then also I feel like this is kind of obvious, but I really enjoyed like their just stuff any body part into any opening type of rest advice. Because, like, sometimes, I don't know. Okay, so when Jed and I did the whole, like, endurance go to 5 climbing gyms in 48 hours thing, I remember getting to the point where, like, I was no longer really climbing with my fingers or my hands. I was just kind of, like, setting my palm on holds. And, like
doing this.
Yeah, kind of just using my wrist. So I really enjoyed her, like, yeah, if you need a rest, just jam it on in there. However you can. But it's also like, that's also not the easiest thing to do sometimes.
No.
She also, another tip from their video that I liked is the counting how long you rest again too.
Yeah, I should do that.
Or like counting in between shakes. So like if you just do minuscule shakes. I remember when I first started climbing, I was like, what are these people with their shakes? Like, are you trying to bring all the boys to the yard? Because I don't got time for it.
That's so true. Yeah, that's the one thing. I always try to find a place on the wall where I can like re-chalk or something. That's usually me. I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna need to re-chalk because my hands get sweaty.
Yeah.
But I don't rest long like I probably should.
I think now that you bring that up, I think a good thing that I'm going to try and keep in mind when we go downstairs and actually climb, imagine that, is maybe trying to chalk when I rest. Because, I mean, that's a good time to re-chalk. Like, why chalk when you're in the middle of something when you can chalk when you're resting? Obviously, the harder the route is, though, sometimes there's not a good rest.
Yeah. You'll have that.
Then what do you do?
I mean, I feel like anything could be a good rest. Like, if you're a better climber, you'll be able to hold longer.
I mean,
I guess, you know?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Or just try the flamingo.
Just try the flamingo.
Yeah, or do the high heel. Just really.
If you haven't seen that video by Anna, Anna Hazelnut is the channel. I highly recommend going to watch it. It was a good video. It also I think it got featured in like a big climbing publication. I want to say Climbing Magazine, but I'm not sure if that's what it was. Yeah, it's cool.
I was really surprised by it. I was like, oh, I didn't realize how many different ways to...
Dude, Anna's my girl. She's so sweet. We keep in contact because we did a collab early on in the channel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, she's cool. She's really cool. I'd love to like climb with her sometime. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're talking about flamingos. Listen to my smooth segue into Benny. Let's talk about Benny. So Benny is Anna's dog.
Yes.
Tell us about Benny.
Benny he's like I think he's 5, maybe. But he's a little pit bull. He's not little. He's like 60 pounds. And he's just so cute. He loves to be outside. That's his like favorite thing when we go to the park and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you take him to the park pretty often?
Oh yeah. We'll go, like, he has his little snowshoes actually that look like climbing shoes.
They're very cute.
So every time I put him on him, I'm like, he's about to send this. Like, let's go, dude. And he just looks so cute in them.
You need to get him a little chalk bag that just, like, has treats in it. And just, like, he'd just be chasing his tail trying to get his treats.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
I'll send that picture to you. I'll wrap my chalk bag around him with
I'm here for
his shoes.
Are there any plans to make Benny into a crag dog?
I don't know if Benny could be a crag dog.
Okay.
Because I think he likes people and everything. But I just feel like he would just scamper off.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, just start getting distracted by all the smells.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And he would, like, see a person, and he'd probably continue. Because, people will walk by on the path or whatever. He would keep walking with them.
Do you think that he would have, like, attachment issues to you at all? Because I know that there's one crag dog. It's so sweet. He just wants his mom to be okay, but every time his mom climbs, he just howls because he wants her to come down because he thinks that
like she's gonna
fall,
go away,
and then
as
soon as she's on the ground again, he's like completely fine.
How funny!
But yeah,
I think he'd be curious at first. He would definitely get in the way.
Yeah,
I
think crag dogs. I mean, I'm all for a crag dog. I just think that there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah,
people, the environment, the dog, the everything.
The other dogs come by.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like your dogs can be completely fine with people, but they might not be fine with other dogs. And I think too, like some people try to take their dogs out when they're. I don't know. I'm not a dog expert, so I don't know. But like, is it better? Any dog experts that are listening to our podcast, is it better to take them out when they're a younger puppy so that they can get more used to it?
I'd say so.
Or is it better to wait? Yeah, I just think there's a lot. If you're a person that has a crag dog, we'd love to hear about your experience.
Yeah.
I think you'd find that especially interesting, huh?
I always think about that, like in videos when I see the little like tail. I'm like, oh, it's a brother dog.
I follow an Instagram account, Mo in the Mountains, and she is all about the crag dogs. I love. She always is taking photos, and she has this thing called. Her dog is called Queso. That's the name of her dog.
That.
And she has this thing she does called Queso Vision, where she like straps a camera to Queso and like lets him run around. And,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, and it's so cute. And then today she posted something about like, do you think our dogs have like boundary issues? And it's this photo of like their 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know how many dogs, but a lot of dogs all over this person. Like, like you can hardly see the person. It's just drowning in dogs.
Oh my gosh. I do follow, Emily Harrington has her, I can't think of what their dog's name is.
A dog named Cat.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Duh. But I follow Cat.
Cat's the cutest. There's a lot of pro climbers that have dogs because like another one is
Cat just went skiing. I saw that.
I saw that. Like, and Alex Johnson has Sunny. She's like this little. I think it's a Chihuahua, small little dog. Gosh. Maybe it's not a Chihuahua. I don't know. I'm not good at that. But there's a little guy named Sunny. It's like, so cute.
That's a cute name.
Yeah, I people are occasionally ask me like, oh, are you gonna bring Mango back out? Mango's my cat. And I'm like, maybe. I don't know. We haven't been really getting out ourselves in general because it's been cold and snowy.
I feel like bringing Mango back to Brecksville would be fine. Because Mango was living that day.
She had a great time.
She really did.
She had a great time. She was exhausted when she came home. She fell asleep she likes to climb up in the car. She likes to climb up on the headrest right above my head. And then she did that and kind of dripped her body down. And over top of you? So I went to pet her head and then little did I know, but for the next 30 minutes her head was just resting in my bent arm, almost falling asleep because she was so tired. So cute.
That is so cute. She probably loved it. She's probably still recovering.
Oh, probably, yeah. What are your plans for outdoors this season? Are you stoked on that, or are you more stoked on gym climbing?
I'm excited to go outside.
Yeah?
For sure. Because I didn't really too much, last year. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Excited to go to new places. Cool. Go, to the Red with you guys and you know, all around.
All around. I think that would be fun.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm stoked on outside.
Is there anywhere like you knew you want to go this summer?
Well, I always want to go everywhere. I really want to get over to Philly to climb with some of my friends there.
Mm-hmm.
And their season is actually like more the winter/spring. Yeah, so I really want to get over there. My friend Liz and I talk like all the time, but she's coming back from an injury, and so she's not quite cleared to outdoor boulder yet. But as soon as she is, that's where I want to get.
That's so cool.
I also really want to get into more multi-pitching, so
after the one that you guys did in August?
The one that we attempted in South
you still
Dakota.
did it.
Well, it wasn't a multi-pitch. It turned out to just be one massive 200-foot single pitch, barely big enough, or like barely short enough for our rope.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Crag Chat. We hope you had fun. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Crag Chat.
Crag Chat.
Crag Chat.